Chapter 7. 2 days later, coming at the usual time, the cousin found the shop entrance crowded. A placard hung from the counter, any packet 25 paisa. There was such a clamor for the packets that the boy at the counter looked harried and exhausted. Old men, young men, children, beggars, and laborers, everyone fell over each other with outstretched arms, and the trays were emptied as fast as they were filled from the kitchen. By 5 o'clock, the entire stock of sweets for the day was exhausted. Sivaraman and the other cooks came out of the kitchen, stood before Jagan, and asked, "What do we do now?" Right. So, uh, after like 2 days later, can you remember the last conversation Jagan and Cousin took between Jagan and Cousin took place between some in the end of the sixth chapter? It was 2 days earlier, and coming at the usual time, Cousin came at the usual time to the shop. The cousin found the shop entrance crowded. Oh my God, cousin can't believe this. The entrance of Jagan's shop is so much crowded. Enormous amount of people, right? Is in the entrance. A placard, placard means a board, right? A name board you have seen, right? In shops, there are placards, right? Announcing the prices, announcing new products, right? Things like that. So a placard, a board from the counter saying, any packet 25 paisa. Any sweet packet is like 25 paisas. Like it's a drastic reduction of the price, right? So normally to eat from this shop, you have to have somewhere around 8 annas. Now each packet is like 25 paisas, right? There was such a clamor for the packets. Such a crowd, such a row, such a clamor. Clamor means lot of noise, lot of struggling. You see this clamor, right? Sometimes in Western countries on the Boxing Day, right? When the prices are drastically reduced, just like this, right? Every year it happens, right? In the Boxing Day, prices comes down. So some people go and stay in the lines the day before even the shop opens, before the malls, big markets, big sales, big sales outlets open. They go in the midnight somewhere, right? Somewhere around 12, and wait in the line till next day the shop is open, right? And once the shop opens, right, people just push each other, shove each other, and just jump into it and empty, and just like walk on each other. Like some people stumble, right? Kind of, that's a clamor, that's a turmoil, that's a turbulence, right? And so it's not to that extent, but still there are some people. Like we are talking about post-colonial India, right? Now even in Western countries, you can witness these things on the YouTube, and you can witness this in the Facebook and kind of social media, right? So right here, now we're coming was such a clamor for the packets. People are just rushing for these packets, right? The boy at the counter looked harried. Means harried. If you don't know the meaning, write down. It's annoyed or harassed. Like it's too much for the boy, right? Just handling this much a crowd, right? Like he has to work like a machine, I guess, right? Because he's the one in the counters, right? Right. The counter look harried and exhausted. He's almost tired and he's almost worn out, right? Imagine, right? He has to supply, just like people. Just imagine this clamor, right? People, like putting their hands and just throwing their hands and appealing. So from this hand he has to give, from there's another hand. Then there are like people maybe asking, right? So he has to work like a constant robot or constant machine. And imagine his situation. And this is a little boy in the first place, right? Uh, and harried and exhausted. Who are in this crowd? Who are gathered in this entrance? Old men are there, young men are there, children are there, beggars are there, laborers are there. Everyone fell over each other with outstretched arm. Everyone fell each other. Means everyone jumps. Like the kind of the line, right? When someone, right? Can you imagine, right? I can imagine my school days, right? When the canteen time comes, right? When the bell rings for the interval, right? There's this small counter, right? Like one guy tries to reach from that counter, then the other one push him around, right? Canteen aganda, aye, cream manissa, aye, gal manissa, aye, ice cream yak, aye, topiak, aye, right? Something like you can Imagine your own situation here, right? Uh, so here the same way around, right? Just imagine. So imagine the pressure if the only guy in the counter is that Ayya, right? අයියට එපා වෙනවා සංසාරේ එපා වෙනවා right. I mean like that's such a demand, how to cater such a crowd, right? The trays were empty. I mean like yes, now outstretched arms means like long arms, right? uh, and they were trays were emptied as fast as they were filled from the kitchen. I mean, like in the kitchen, the trays were filled with the sweets. They come to the front, it's finished. They come trays with full sweets, it's finished. The trays are coming, it's getting finished. It's such a speed things get. I mean, like it shows something else, right? How famous this shop in Malgudi is, right? All this time, what was the problem? I mean, the prices were the high. The price high was the problem, right? Unless everyone loves this, unless why are people just uh, I'm like just clamoring around here? Again, දෙයකට ආස නැත්නම් මේ නිකන් දුන්නත් ගන්නවද මිනිස්සු නැහැ, right? So this is, imagine this thing, right? uh, by 5 o'clock the entire stock of seeds for the day was exhausted. By 5 o'clock business is over, entire stock is gone, right? Sivaraman and the other cooks came out of the kitchen. I mean, like after 5, they came. They normally leave somewhere around 7, right? Now, around somewhere around today 5, business is over. They came out of the kitchen, stood before Jagan and asked, like they stood before boss and asked, "What do we do now? What's the plan now, right? What are we supposed to do?" Go home, Jagan said, right? Yeah, the work is over, go home, right? If the seeds have been sold out, our work for the day is over. Right? The seeds are sold, then it's done, right? Can you remember in the first chapter, right? Sivaraman came and said that there were some remnants, right? Jalebis were left over. But today, nothing, round 5, everything is over, right? I do not understand, said Sivaraman, turning the golden bead at his throat. What has happened? What is this all for? I mean, like Sivaraman is little confused now. I says, "Sir, I don't understand. Like, what's going on? What's in your mind? Why is this sudden drastic change of prices? Right? I don't understand. What's the reason behind it?" Said Sivaraman, turning the gold bead at his throat. I mean, like gold bead at his throat. I mean, like sometimes when people imagine there's a pendant here, right? There's a pendant. I'm wearing a chain, and there's a pendant here. Right? If I'm working, right, seriously, I'm busy. Sometimes I even don't know that this can go. This pendant can travel somewhere else, right, in my neck, along the chain, right. So now I'm just pulling that thing. The gold bead here, it's instead of pendant, it's a gold bead, means a gold bubble, right? A small gold ball, right? Kind of just pulling it to the throat, I mean, adjusting it, right? Sivarama turning the golden bead at his throat asked, like, what has happened? What is going on, right? That's the idea. What has happened? What is this for? Like, why are we doing this for? What is the purpose of this? Let more people eat sweets, that is all. Aren't they happy? Said Jagan. Yeah, the purpose of it is like just, people are eating more sweets. Aren't the people happy? Asked Jagan, right? Uh, do you plan to close down? Asked Sivaraman, and his assistant said, at this rate we will be swamped. Sivaraman asked from his boss, right? Are you planning to close down the shop, sir? I mean, like, are you planning to give and give and give, go on this rate, and just one day finally we'll go bankrupt, right? At this rate. I mean, like, if we go like this, if we continue like this, we will be swamped. You don't know what is a swamp, right? Write down the meaning. Fill quickly beyond capacity, right? I mean, like swamp, it's kind of flooded, inundated, the deluge, right? It means like we will be flooded. I mean, like we'll be bankrupt in other words, right? We can't run a business like this. We can't do things out of profit, right? So we will be swamped. Said the another one, his assistant cook, right? Jagan said, it will make no difference to you, said Jagan. Now don't worry. It will not make a difference to you. It's not about you. Don't worry about being bankrupt, right? You get your salaries, right? So it doesn't mean anything to you. Your situation will not change. We shall reduce nothing, either quantity or quality. At the same time, we are not reducing our quality of sweets. Our quality will be maintained. We are giving super sweets, in other words, super quality good stuff, even for this 25 paisas each packet. That also we are maintaining, says Jagan, right? How? How can we? Ask Sivaraman, how can we? I mean, like, how can we do such a thing? That's impractical, right? How can we maintain good quality and just give packet life of 25 paisa? Jacob could not easily explain what he was doing or why. And this question, I mean, like, Jacob can't explain this. Like, why he was doing what he was doing, why he's reducing these prices for this much amount and doing this thing, right? Right. The cousin sitting on the stool came to his rescue. And cousin was came to the shop, you can remember in the very beginning of the chapter, right? And immediately came to rescue Jagan, right? I mean, like he added, right? Uh, we are only trying some new measures to meet the competition. I will explain it all to you tomorrow. Cousin comes with a nice line, right? He says, like, we are only trying some new measures to meet the competition. I mean, like, there's a competition in the Malgudi. I mean, like, Anand Bhavan has its own customers, then the low court canteen has its customers, this vendor, I mean, like this sweet meat shop of Jagan have its sorts of customers, and maybe some other shops in the Malgudi that we don't know, right? So he now Jagan wants to get all the business for a while for him. It's like a business promotion. When some business promotions are there, even in today, they reduce the price, right? For example, we'll forget fridges, I mean, like, we'll forget sweets. There are certain, for example, maybe singer who sells fridges, right? Or some other place, like, for example, Softlogic, just reduce the prices drastically. Like, if fridge costs somewhere around, for example, 2 lakhs, they'll just reduce the price for 1 lakh for certain month and certain time, right? Very limited time. The purpose of this is just to attract the customers. Then people just come immediately, right? So many people will buy, the stock will be finished, as well as the name will have impact, right? So when people ask, like, where did you buy this stuff, I can say, like, I buy this from this place, this that place, right, for this amount. So it's a kind of promotion itself, right? It's a kind of business promotion. For promoting things, people do those things, right? So that's why Cousin says, sitting in the tool, said, we are trying some measures to meet the competition. We are this way with this promotion, with this thing, we are balancing, or we are just facing the competition, right? I will explain it all to you tomorrow. Now this is big business theory, right? So he said that to the cooks, right? Cooks don't know about business theories and business measures and these plans and smart business maneuvers. So Cousin says, like, okay, I'll explain that to you tomorrow. Don't worry about these things right now, right? The cooks went away. The shop emptied itself at 6 o'clock. Shop is all clean at 6 o'clock. On other days, normally it runs somewhere around 7:30, right? The boy, the bringing the bronze earlier than usual, saying, and now the boy is bringing the earnings in the jar, and still crowded outside. I mean, like, he says, like, still a crowd outside waiting. So, I mean, like, sir, still the queue is there. Some people are still outside just waiting for the sweets. Everything's over, right? They are angry that they are not getting anything today. They are very angry that we can't provide them any sweets today, right? Now, I mean, like, uh, you've seen these things, right? You can see in once in a while these things repeat, right? So in this corona season, right, this is somewhere around 2021, I'm just doing this. So in this when in this instance, right, can you remember, right, in the TV, in the television, they show that, right, there is a kind of a person, like a local medic, like a local doctor. It's like a local doctor. ධම්මික පැණිය කියලා එකක් කරානේ වෙද මහත්තයෙක්, right? මිනිස්සු පෝලිං වල ඉන්නවා. වෙද මහත්තයගේ පැණි දෙන්න බෑ කිව්වම මිනිස්සුන්ට තරහා යනවා right මෙච්චර උදේ ඉඳලා පොලිමේ ඉඳලා මේ මනුස්සර පැණිය දෙන්න බැන මොන මකුලද අපි මේ උදේ ඉඳලා ඉන්නේ දෙන්න අපිට පැණි දෙන්න just like one egg right people get angry because they were in lines they were spending so much time being in line බඩු නෑ කියපුවම මිනිස්සුන්ට තරහා යනවා right I mean like can't help right this ධම්මික මහත්තයා ඊට වඩා තරහා යනවා right just like what they බඩු නැත්තම් නෑ තවත් ඉතින් මැරෙන්න yes like then he just jump on the people right that's what you saw on the TVs right so let's forget it uh, now if you are seeing this thing in the future right somewhere around few years later you may don't know and understand what I'm talking about but just forget it right uh, right now getting anything today right now the boy says like the boy is bringing in the bronze jug earlier than usually saying still a crowd is waiting sir uh, and they are angry that they are not getting anything today okay and then Jagan immediately say tell them to come tomorrow tomorrow also we are doing the same thing right promotion goes on tomorrow as well right they can buy packets for 25 paisas tell them to come tomorrow they could hear the shouts of the crowd outside and the captain swearing at them I mean like the shouts right they could hear the shouts of the crowd is screaming right give us sweets right maybe they're screaming like we want sweets today we were in the line we spent some time we need sweets right and the captain swearing at them captain is maybe just like saying some nasty things right swearing at them right get lost go to hell maybe certain things I don't know it's not said here right uh, our people must learn to be disciplined Jagan observed Jagan looking at this right and said our people need to be disciplined. Our people have to have little discipline, right? Jagan said, observing. He felt light at the heart after this arrangement. I mean, he felt eased. He felt a burden of his heart lessened. He felt good, in other words, right? You feel this goodness, right? You feel this a sense of lightness, right, at heart after doing good things, right? Good deeds, right? That's a natural feeling after engaging in charity. Your heart says you have done something good, you have done something worthwhile. I mean, like you have helped people. It's a feel good situation, it's a feel good emotion, right? So he felt light at the heart of this arrangement, but it took time for his staff to get adjusted to the idea as they were afraid of the stagnant business might limit prospects and promotions. I mean, like still even Jagan is feeling initially good about this thing. I mean, like the staff, Sivaraman, the cook, the boy, and everyone in the staff felt it's little hard to adjust. I mean, it took a time for them just to get used to this idea. I mean, like this is something totally new to them, right? They have never done it before in this shop. And they were afraid at the same time the stagnant business might limit prospectors and promotions. I mean, like now the business is stagnant. If right, if a business make profits, the boss can give the employees some kind of a bonus, some kind of a promotion, some kind of extra salary, right? But if the boss is not making profits, it's very hard just to give bonuses or give profits or just give some extra money or spend on the workers because it's a stagnant business. Stagnant means what? It doesn't develop. It stays in the same place over and over. Stagnant, right? So that's it. Now workers are a little bit nervous, right? If the business is going to go like this, we are not getting promotions, we are not getting salary increases, so they are a little concerned about it, right? They don't understand it. Jagan had not thought of that. Jagan didn't have those kind of ideas in his mind, right? Just like giving promotions or anything, right? Not of that. But he pretended to have taken into consideration all aspect of the question that just brushed off comments. I mean, like he acted as if he's doing this very well planned, as if he's doing this. I mean, like according to a scheme that he has designed, right? In other words, he just didn't listen to other comments, other negative ideas, and he did this thing as if he know what he was doing. Right? Sometimes you have to find the difference between A person know what he is doing, and some people are doing things not knowing what they are doing. Right? Uh, there's a difference there, right? And now Jagan is a person like who is doing actually in reality, in real life, he's doing things, but he doesn't know that he's doing these things. In other ways, right? I'll explain this. In other words, this is a kind of a thing that Jagan do not because of business promotion or anything. This is not a marketing plan. This is not what he do just to improve his business or to just attract any more customers, any new customers. He has enough customers. He has enough business so far. He doesn't have to do a promotion. Business goes on, right? Even he doesn't do anything. Now he does these things. He gives these price reductions because of something inside his mind, his soul that's disturbing him that he doesn't know that the reason that pushed him to do these activities. In other words, Jagan is disturbed, right? Jagan is disturbed inside because of Mali's issues. He's depressed. So by this act, he's kind of balancing himself, balancing his imbalance, balancing his agitation, personal turmoil by doing some kind of a charity act. That's the idea, right? That's what it. So actually, that's the unconscious. I mean, like Jagan doesn't know the reason why actually he's doing this. Do you get this? What I'm trying to point at? Okay, Jagan know he has reduced the prices. It's obvious. But what is the hidden motive behind Jagan doing such action is still unclear to Jagan himself. Right? So we know as readers this is definitely has to do with something between Mali and Grace, right? And their business plan and such pressure is good. In other words, okay, then අපි මෙහෙම හිතමු I'll just explain it in Sinhala, right? දැන් ජේගන්ට ලොකු ප්‍රෙෂර් එකක් තියෙනවා ගෙදරින්. ග්‍රේස් කෙනෙක් මාලි කෙනෙක්. එතකොට ජේගන් හරි අප්සෙට් මානසිකව ව්‍යාකූලයි. එතකොට ඒ වගේ තැනකදී ජේගන් මෙහෙම එකපාරට එයා කැමැතිම දේනේ මේ ස්වීට් මීට් විකුණන එක. ඒතර මෙහෙම ප්‍රයිස් එක රිඩියුස් කරන ක්‍රියාවලිය එයා කරන්නේ අර ගෙදරින ප්‍රෙෂර් එක, ගෙදරින් ආපු ප්‍රෙෂර් එක, ගෙදරින් ආපු අර තමන්ව ව්‍යාකූල කරන, ඒ කියන්නේ හිත ඇතුලේ අප්සෙට් එකනේ තියෙන්නේ දැන්. දැන් මේ වගේ දෙයක් මෙහෙම කරනකොට හිතේ තියෙන අප්සෙට් එක නැති වෙනවා. අර ප්‍රෙෂර් එක තමන්ට බිල්ඩ් වෙච්ච ප්‍රෙෂර් එක එයා රිලීස් කරන්නේ සමාජයට ස්වීට්ස් වල ප්‍රයිස් එක අඩු කරනවා. දැන් ගෙදරනේ මෙච්චර කල් අවුල තිබ්බේ. දැන් මනසේ ඇතුලේ තමයි ජේගන්ගේ මෙච්චර කල් මේව තියාගෙන ජේගන් වද වෙවි මේ ගැන බොටල් අප් ෆීලිංග්ස් තියාගෙන හිටියනේ. දැන් එකපාරට ජේගන් සෝඩා බෝතලේ මූඩි ඇරියා වගේ දඩාන් ගාලා මේ ප්‍රයිස් රිඩක්ෂන් කර ගමන් effervescence එකපාරට මේ සෙනග වැඩි මිනිස්සු පෙරලගෙන එනවා. මෙතන එක යුද්ධයක්, යම යුද්ධයක්. prices මේ අඩු වෙලා මිනිස්සු සේල් එකේ බඩු ගන්න, right? sweets. එතකොට උනේ මෙතන තමන්ගේ ඇතුලේ තිබ්බ ප්‍රෙෂර් එක ජේගන් එළියට දැම්මා. ඒකයි මේ උනේ. හැබැයි ඒක උනාට ජේගන් දන්නේ නැහැ. ඒ දේ හරියට ජේගන්ට වචන වලට දාගන්න බෑ. වචන වලින් මේ දේ හදලා දෙන්න දන්නේ නැහැ ජීක. ඒක ඇතුලෙන් වෙච්ච දෙයක්. ඉබේට වෙච්ච දෙයක්. ඒකට අපි තමයි කියන්නේ unconscious කියලා. අවිඥානය කියලා කියන්නේ. ඒකට තමන් යටිහිතේ දේවල් සමහර වෙලාවට දන්නේ නැහැ. තමන් උඩුහිතින් කරන දේවල්ට යටිහිතේ තියෙන දේවල් බලපානවා. හරි. එතකොට මේ වගේ දෙයක් කරන්න ජීවන්ගේ යටිහිතේ තිබ්බේ මොකද්ද? මේ තමන්ගේ ප්‍රෙෂර් එක, තමන්ගේ අකමැත්ත මේ තියෙන එක විදිහකට මේක ප්‍රොටෙස්ට් එකක්. You know what is a protest, right? For example, right, okay, imagine you are in the class, right? Your class teacher is very rough and hits you every day, right? Teacher පෙන්නන්න බෑ. Teacher හැමදාම ගහනවා. Teacher හැමදාම සැර කරනවා, right? the මෙහෙම වගේ වැඩක් වුණා, right? අපි අම්මා teacher කෙනෙක්, right? I'll tell you a story, right? This is something you enjoy. ඉතින් ඒ පොඩි ළමයෙක්ගේ ටීචර් කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා එහා ක්ලාස් එකේ, right? ඒ ටීචර් හරි සැරයි. දැක්කමත් නිකන් මේ හරි අප්‍රසන්නයි, right? I mean like this is a situation that grade 2 students, grade 3 students, right? Have to face, right? ඒ ටීචර්ගේ කටහඬ ඇහුණත් නිකන් චූ යන size එක, right? හරි ළමයිට සැරයි. ඉතින් ළමයි අහනවා ටීචර් අද පොඩි ළමයිනේ, can I go to toilet? Can I go to washroom please? No, 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 no. You stay still, the period is over. No one stand up. Just sit down, right? Just she jumps, right? කොල්ලෙකුට ඉන්නවා දැන් ඉතින් ඉන්නවා මැරයිටි පොඩි උන් ඉන්නවනේ. හරි යන්නේ නෑ මේ ලයින් එක, right? මේ ටීචර් මේ ලයින් එක කොහෙත්ම දිරවන්නේ නෑ. He also asked like, teacher, can I go to toilet? ඊමාඩි toilet. That till the period is over. මම ඉතින් චූ බරයි මම කාලේ. ගිහින් වාඩි වුණා. ටීචර් මොකක් හරි වැඩකට එළියට ගියා. මට යන්න එපා කියලා කියනවා. මම එමෙට ටීචර්ගේ බෑග් එකට අත දාලා ටීචර්ගේ කණ්ණාඩි දාන කේස් එක තියෙනවා, right? මම එමෙට පැත්තකට ගිහිල්ලා ඒකට චූ කරා කියලා. දැන් මම කියනකො ටීචර්ගේ බෑග්. These are real life situations, these are real life. These are not invented stuff. මම ටීචර්ගේ මේ එකට මේ කණ්ණාඩි කේස් එකට චූ කරලා ටීචර්ගේ බෑග් එක දැම්මා. The idea is like he knows he's doing this thing, but what makes him do such a thing is still unclear. කියන්නේ ඒකට තිබ්බ pressure එක තමයි ඒක bag එකේ දෙන්නේ. Something like that is going on here. He doesn't know, Jagan doesn't know. I mean like you have to get this idea clear, right? Internally he don't know the dynamics, what is going on, but he do a thing and that thing makes him feel good because his pressure, internal pressure, is kind of externalized, right? It's thrown to the society. It's kind of projected the pressure to the society. I mean, like now he feels good because this act. And when the people ask questions like, "Why are you doing this thing? What is the reason behind it?" He can't give an answer. He's getting stuck. Right? Jagan can't give a rational answer for this because the act itself is irrational, right? You have to clearly understand these things. Now, see, R.K. Narayan doesn't say these things, right? He just gives us the incident. It's like a skeleton. It's just like a skeleton. So, as good readers, we should be able to just bring out life. I mean, like we have to puff flesh and blood into this skeleton, and we have to puff life so we can see the reality of this, right? So, right, coming back, I deviated once in a while, right? So, you can understand this dynamics. Now, coming back to the situation, right? And Jagan acted as if he know why he's doing this. He has nicely planned these things and he's doing these things and he's showing off that to his workers, because unless workers will feel upset, right? So he's not answering these kind of questions. Brush off the comments. They return to the subject again and again. I mean, like workers are asking, like, what is this? Like, how long we are going to do like this? Like, what is the purpose of this? They had more time to stand around the throne and discuss things now that the frying operations lasted only 3 hours from midday and the sales only 1 hour, but the crowd at the counter vainly clamoring for more. The place became free from all activity. I mean, like now even the things have gone to a fast pace. Things, I mean, like sweets are finished immediately now. It doesn't even take that time, right? They had more time to stand around. Now the cooks and the working staff has more time to talk with the boss and stand around, the Jagan's throne, the Jagan's chair, right? Because the frying operations lasted only 3 hours. I mean, like 3 hours in the morning, finish. Everything's over. Okay. I mean, like they have a daily quota, right? Every worker has a daily quota, right? I mean, like that's how it works. It worked in the old days. So you have work, but that work you have to work from morning till evening. But now that work can be done in 3 hours because so many customers comes, right? And the quota is immediately finished. You understand this, right? And sales only, and sales hours, 1 hour, like it's finished. Like unnu kavum wage yanawa dano me ivarai, right? Me dano me ivarai, me dano me ivarai. Just like 1 hour, it's totally over, right? Uh, but for the crowd at the counter, vainly clamoring for me. But the crowd is there. It's a huge crowd to cater. The crowd is excessive. That's the problem here. Right? Stuff is over. Crowd, the lines, the queue is there, right? Clamoring for more means asking for more, making noise for more, right? Give me, give me, give me, right? More. The place became free from all activity. I mean, after some time, inside, it's all over. It was a cause of great concern for Sivaraman. I mean, Sivaraman's really upset, right? This is great concern, means this serious stuff for Sivaraman. Like he's taking this seriously. Who felt that the crowd might turn unruly. He was very scared, like the crowd will get angry and jump into the shop and try to force them, right? So they will get hit because that's the cook's fault, right? If the now Sivaram, you have to understand this, right? Why is Sivaraman scared? Because this shop there's a huge crowd in front. The food is over, right? Jagan is the good man. He is giving these things for 25 paisa. But the food over means like the cooks are not cooking, right? Cooks are not frying, right? Then the people outside are waiting. And they may think, okay, this boss is good. Jagan, හොඳයි මේ මෙතන ඉන්න කෝකියෝනේ මේක හදන්න නැත්තේ. They can get angry, they can get unruly and damage or hit or the cooks. Do it, do it, do it. If the boss is giving, what's your problem? Why can't you do it? Then the villain can be the public rage, the mob rage can be focused on the cooks. That's why Sivaraman felt like, oh my god, this is not a good development, right? Right? Something like that. And the crowd might turn unruly. That's the idea here, right? Jagan replied, and Jagan said, be patient and watch, right? Don't panic. Just let's observe, let's just observe the situation, right? Our people have to learn to discipline and will certainly learn soon. But they'll understand, right? We are not just going to play to their tune. We are playing our tune and they'll learn. They'll be disciplined and they'll be learn. Right? Don't worry, right? Don't worry. To everyone else, that little hole, it sounded irrelevant. But for Sivaraman and the cooks and everyone else, this advice is irrelevant. It's not that relevant, right? It's like it's strange advice, right? But they were too polite to say so. But they were too polite to say so. Means like no one questions Jagan, right? Maybe we shall have to prepare more, said Sivaraman. There you go. Sivaraman says, like, sir, what if like we have to cook, like we have to fry more sweets? What shall we do? Right? Says Sivaraman, chewing a piece of tobacco in a most leisurely manner. Now he doesn't to do much. He has finished his business, right? He has his duty somewhere on 3 hours. And we are chewing a tobacco, right? A piece of tobacco in a most leisurely means like a most relaxed way, right? And cook on the වැඩ nothing hurry relax okay, right? Leisurely manner. No harm in trying it, but what for? Asked Jacob. Yeah, of course, like we can cook more. No harm in it, no problem. But what's the purpose? Asked Jacob. They merely mumbled. I mean, like others didn't have an answer for that question from Jacob, so that no one is turned back. And someone said, right, mumble. They merely mumbled, said, so no one is turned back means no one goes home empty handed. So everyone gets something, said someone, right? Mumbled, not in a direct way, not in a loud voice, but in an indirect voice, right? Incoherent way. What for? Asked Jagan, right? Jagan also asked, like, I mean, like, this is Jagan's idea, right? And still, even he doesn't want some people going empty-handed. It's not issue for him, right? Tomorrow we can give. If they didn't get it today, tomorrow they can give it. I don't want to satisfy all the customers. Not my business. Right? I don't care. In other words, right? Sivaraman and his four assistants were pure technicians in the matter of confectionery. They floundered over questions of economics, marketing, and politics. Sivaraman and his four assistants were pure technicians, means they are technicians. They know what they do. They know the art of how to fry sweet meats. The matter of confectionery. Confectionery is another word for sweets. Toffees are confectionaries. Cakes can be considered confectionaries. Whatever sweet, right? Desserts, confectionaries, right? So write it down. Confectionery is something sweet, right? They floundered. I mean, like we came across this word, right? Behave awkwardly or like kind of difficulty. They were acting a little bit awkwardly. Or the questions of economics. Now they're asking questions like economics, marketing, politics. These are big subjects, right? These subjects need education. This subject needs some kind of study just to speak about these things. Normal common person in the road cannot talk about economics, right? They can give some ideas, but they can't speak in a much more coherent, much more educated, enlightened way. So the cooks always spend their time in the kitchen, and they don't have time to read. They don't have time to study, so they don't know these subjects, right? So they floundered means they were very uncomfortable or they were behaving awkwardly in this kind of big topics, right? Because more people are asking for our sweets now, the price has been so much reduced. I mean, like now Jagan says, right? Jagan explains, right? Because the more people are asking for our sweets now, the price has so much reduced. I mean, like when there's a big customer base, sometimes you can give things for a lesser value, right? I mean, like that's how sometimes profit works, right? Okay, imagine you are doing a business, lemonade business. You are making lemonade, this lemon drink out of lemons. Imagine you are doing it in school. If you do a lemonade stand and you imagine the price is 10 rupees, right? If three or five, four customers only come to you, even the price is high, even your lemonades are good and the price is high, there's a profit you make, right? Certain amount of profit. Say like five, one lemonade you are making like 5 rupees, five customers 25 rupees, right? So your lemonade is 10 rupees. But imagine you are suddenly reducing the price to half. Your lemonade is 5 rupees now, okay? And the profit you make is 1 rupee. And like 100 people come to buy from you, 100 students come to buy from you when you're doing it at the school, the profit is like from one lemonade is 1 rupee, but 100 students, 100 rupees. You still make a big profit than you did before, even with the higher prices, right? Even your price is reduced now, but half to half, right? Still the profit is big because huge amount of people are buying from you, right? That's what Jagan is explaining. These economics, right? Basic economics. Common students know these things. Others just they just ignore it, right? Uh, how that is a brilliant explanation, Jagan felt. Jagan felt like, wow, that was a nice explanation that I did for the workers, right? He felt important, right? Jagan felt, but he did not think of politics to say so. He merely remarked, well, that is a point of view. We will consider it after we see how it goes for the last 15 days, for at least 15 days. I mean, like, he wanted to talk about the political aspect of this as well, but he didn't go into that topic, and he said like, okay, we'll check how this is going to improve or how this is going, what's the outcome of this act, reduce prices for at least 15 days. It means other words, right? He's going to continue for another 50, another some more days, right? කියන්නේ දන්සල දැම්ම වහන්න ප්ලෑන් එකක් නෑ, ඉස්සරහටත් දන්සල දාන්න තමයි හිතන්නේ, right? That's the idea, right? 15 days. He knew that his staff viewed him as an astute businessman, although his decision was baffling. Doubtless, they had thought he must have some sound reason for taking his step. They credited with him some canny purpose, and he could not bring himself to delusion them. He felt curiosity, flattered, and gratified, and although a lover of truth generally, in this instance he enjoyed shining in a false light. There you go. Right. So the idea here is, if I to simplify, his staff, his workers, always saw Jagan as a very astute, a very competent, a very rational, a very deliberate, very educated businessman who exactly knew what he was doing whenever he's doing business. Right? They look to him as a role model. They look to him as a good businessman, good brain, smart guy, smart businessman, right? He always know what he do. But in this occasion, Jagan's act is not that, right? You know that, I explained it, right? He do this thing because of his personal, I mean, like unintentional, what you call unconscious reasons, right? It's inside him. The secret lies inside him. Even that secret is not clear to him why he's doing this. And in this case, that's not the truth. Like even the servants, I mean, like the cooks see him like a cute, good businessman, but this decision doesn't have any foundation. This decision of giving free sweets has no solid business plan behind it. It was a sudden decision, sudden, irrational, out of the blues kind of a decision, right? And they credited him with some uncanny purpose because workers think this, cooks thinks that Jagan is a very smart guy. They think that this boss is giving, my boss is giving this reduced price sweets because in his mind he has another plan that we don't see. අපිට පේන්නේ නැති මොකක් හරි අනාගතයක් බොස්ට පේන හින්දා තමයි බොස් මෙහෙම කරනවා ඇත්තේ. මොකද බොස් වැඩක්. right? බොස් වැඩකරු. බොස් එහෙම නිකන් මේ මෙතන පිස්සු ගෙලින්නේ නැහැ. right? බොස්ට මොකක් හරි ප්ලෑන් එකක් ඇති ඉස්සරහට මොකක් හරි මේකේ ඇති. වාසියක් අපිට නොපෙනෙන වාසියක් බොස්ට පේනවා ඇති. කියලා තමයි workersලා thinking, right? Some uncanny purpose, some kind of a hidden, right? Kind of an interest that shadows, right? Uncanny purposes. That he could not bring himself to disillusion them. And at this moment, Jagan can't, I mean, like, contradict that idea. Jagan can't falsify that idea. මේ වැඩ කරන කට්ටිය එහෙම තමන් ගැන හිතාගෙන ඉන්නවනම් ඒ idea එක destroy කරන්න Jaganට බෑ. Right? He doesn't want to do. If they are thinking I'm smart, let them think I'm smart, right? No problem, right? And here, right, he felt curiosity, flattered, and gratified. At that moment, he felt good about it. The way the workers think about him, right? He sensed these things, and he felt like Superman. He felt like good. That's good. How they think about me is perfect. Works for me, right? And as a matter of fact, right, he felt, I mean, like, normally Jagan is a person who like to know the truth, who always try to speak the truth, right, when he's speaking, as far as he's concerned. But here in this moment, he enjoyed shining in a false light, means he enjoyed the misunderstanding about him on his workers, thinking that he's a very competent person. He was happy about it. He enjoyed shining in that false light, in this false misunderstanding that he is great, he is good, made him feel good, right? Sivaraman finally said, "It is possible that you have found a way to draw all this business in the town to your door." I mean, like, Sivaraman finally said, as if he understood the idea, right? It is possible that you have found a way. Aha, sir, I see now, right? You have found a way, you have invented a way to get all the business in the Malgudi to your doorstep. I mean, all the people in Malgudi are now coming to you. That's a business trick, right? I get it now, says Sivaraman, finally, right? He had just enough tact and vanity to permit himself a meaningful smile and then felt pleased that smiled meaningfully too. I mean, like, when Jagan said, I mean, like, Sivaraman said that Jagan, he was smile, right? He had enough tact and vanity to permit himself. I mean, like, Jagan felt self important, right? Jagan felt like his collar is little up, right? Permit himself a meaningful smile and felt pleased and smiled meaningful too. And he smiled as a meaningful smile, right? I mean, like uh, he's actually shining in the false light. That's the idea of this sentence, right? Now I know Hude, right? I'm doing a crime here, right? Any good literature lover knows, right? Paraphrasing is a crime. Okay, I mean, like, paraphrasing is the crime a reader can do to a good solid literature text. You learn these things, right? When you go to university, in a case like if you are studying humanities further, right, you will understand these things, right? I mean, like, it's not that much encouraged, but in your case, like, because still it's hard, I have to do these things, right? I simplify these things not because I don't know things, right? Because I have to simplify things because we are here in an exam purpose, right? Not we are not reading this for pure enjoyment or pure pleasure, right? We are here in a business, right? We are in business as well, right? So I have to do the crime, right? So let's all shine in this false light. Coming back, right? Uh, he then had before him the greater treasures than mere profit. He had then held before them the greater treasures than mere profit. He said, "You have leisure now, and do not know what how to use it." And now Jagan is going to go into something else, right? Uh, he says, In life, the greater things are not the treasures of profit, but there are more valuable things, right? And you are now relaxed, no? Aren't you relaxed, right? Do not know how to use it. Now, you don't know how to use your relaxation. Even you have free time, you don't know how to use your free time. Because all this time they were working in the kitchen and they don't know how to manage time and what to do in life, what to read in life. You are uneducated, in other words, right? So I'll teach you how to manage time and how to do it, right? Then know how to use it. Let me help you. Let me give some treasure into your life. Let me give some insight into your life, right? Sit down and learn how to best utilize the precious hours that come to us not by lounging in the marketplace or discussing money matters. Right now we have free time. Why? All the workers finish their daily work within 3 hours. So how many hours are left? Normally they work for like 12 hours, right? From morning 7, somewhere around even 7:30, right? So now, like, how many hours are left? Like 9 hours are left, right? So let's don't chit chat, let's not gossip, right? Or just not lounging in the marketplace, lounging in sitting in the marketplace and watching how the people do, right? Transactions, right? කට අරගෙන දත් එළියට දාගෙන බලන් ඉන්නේ නැතුව, right? Lounging in the marketplace or discussing money matters now. That's no purpose, right? It's wasting time, it's squandering time. Sit down, all of you. Jagan informed all of the workers who doesn't have any work to do, just sitting in the shop. I mean, like idling in the shop. Sit down, all of you. I will read to you from Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is the biggest literary text, because biggest not literary, actually it's a sacred text, right? It's the wisdom of Jagandana Lokuma අධ්‍යාපනික ආධ්‍යාත්මික පොත තමයි භගවත් ගීත. ඉතින් ඒකෙන් තමයි ජේගන් කියලා දෙන්නේ, right? I mean, like, the cooks even don't know even that, right? Much. So he said, I'm going to read you from Bhagavad Gita every day for an hour. Every day from today onwards, hour, I'll be reading to you Bhagavad Gita. You have to sit down and listen to me, right? You will benefit by it. You'll get so many things to your life by it. Call in the captain also. Call captain outside. He's outside. He's the security, right? he can join our session too, right? Bhagavad Gita session, right? Uh, uh, can captain also, if he likes to join us? He commanded them to be seated again. Jagan ordered the workers to sit down, right? Again, looked onto them with benign pity from his tone, like in a sympathetic look, he looked at the workers, right? මේ දේවල් දන්නේ නැති මිනිස්සුන්ට මේ දේවල් කියලා දෙන්න ආධ්‍යාත්මික දේවල් කියලා දෙන්න අධ්‍යාපනික දේවල් කියලා දෙන්න එක it's a feel good emotion for Jagan, and he looked for them a self pity. මේ මොකුත් දන්නේ නැති මිනිස්සු නේද කියන අනුකම්පාවෙන් ඉතර බුදුහාමුදුරුවෝත් එහෙමනේ ලෝකයා කෙරෙහි පහළ වූ ආත්මානුකම්පාවෙන් මේ දේවල් කරන්න බුදුහාමුදුරුවෝනේ අඟුලිමාලටත් එහෙම දෙයක් වුණානේ කී දෙනෙකුට කරාද නේ බුදුහාමුදුරුවෝනේ එහෙම දෙයක් තමයි මේ self pity එකක් එනවා, right, for Jagan, right? Just like benign pity from his tone, took his Bhagavad Gita, opened it on the first page and began. He opened the Bhagavad Gita and now start to preach them the Bhagavad Gita, right? On the field of Kurukshetra, two armies arrayed and ready for battle faced each other. Do you know why they were there? This is from the Bhagavad Gita, right? Random page maybe. In the field of in the land of Kurukshetra, two opposing armies, enemy armies. One army is here, another army is here. Arrayed means arrange themselves and ready for battle. They are ready for a face-to-face battle, right? In old days, they have this face-to-face battle, not like ambush fight today, right? Face-to-face battle with each other. Do you know why they were there? He asked from the workers. Do you know why these two armies were there in this land of Kurukshetra, face-to-face? Sivaraman now completely relaxed. Imagine now these guys are seated and Jagan is on this lofty chair, right? Sublime chair, just like a king or just like a preacher. අර පිටි දුවේ සිරිදම් මහාමුදුරුව වගේ ලොකු පුටුවක කකුල් දෙක එරමිනිය ගොතාගෙන වාඩි වෙලා දැන් උපාසකයෝ ටික බිම වාඩි වෙලා සිරිදම් මහාමුදුරුව බණ කියනවා මෙයාලා අහන් ඉන්නවා ඒ වගේ just like now Sivaraman completely relaxed. Now he's totally relaxed, right? Watching, right? Sitting cross-leg. He's sitting cross-leg means legs, right? Crossed, right? And the bolt upright on the floor, like his spine is straight, right? Bolt upright on the floor, said, "Of course, we all know why they were there. I am sure all these boys know too," said Sivaraman, right? "I know why they are there in the Kurukshetra field facing each other. I think the boys know too," says Sivaraman, right? They murmured an assent, like they murmured in a kind of an assent, right? Agreement. Others like murmur. Yeah, we know. The other cooks also says, right? The captain standing respectfully apart with arms folded and his short stick under his right arm nodded appreciatively. And captain is also listening this, right? But he's not sitting. He's standing right behind. And his arms folded, folding the arms, right? Folded the arms and he's listening with a short stick under his right arm. There's a stick in his arm. Why does captain need a stick? In case of people make a mess, right? Or when anyone just comes without permission, he'll be chastising, right? With that stick. He'll be punishing. That's for punishing purposes, right? It's like a baton stick that police people have, right? So a stick under his right arm, not an appreciative, right? He's also agreeing. Yeah, we all know why these two armies are there in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, right? Not minding what the head cook said, Jagan didn't pay enough attention, or he was not caring much about what the head cook said. Jagan began again from the first line of a singer-song. Jagan started explaining these things again as he's explaining to a complete beginner, right? From in a line, a singer-song, kind of a poetic line, right? And felt a thrill at the sound of Sanskrit. Sanskrit is a beautiful, dense language, right? I mean, like if you are going to Sunday schools, I don't know whether you attended Sunday schools, right? They'll teach a little bit of Sanskrit, right? When I was there in the Sunday school, as when I was at your age, the the big shoes, right? I mean, like the monks are teaching us these things, Sanskrits and things, right? It's very dense. I didn't like those things, Pali and Sanskrit. It's like Greek to me, right? Bullshit, right? That's right. Forget, right? But still, it's a beautiful language if you know it, right? Yes. And Sanskrit. At this moment, the great warrior now he's explaining this thing. Right? පන්සලේ ලොකු හාමුදුරුවෝ පොල්ට බණ කියනවා වගේ තමයි දැන් දෙන්නේ ජේගන් පාර දෙනවා දැන් තියලා, right? At this moment, where the two armies are facing each other in the land of Karkrestra, great warrior Arjuna had a misgiving as to how he could fight his own uncles and cousin. His knees shook at the thought. Now, great warrior Arjuna is also in one side, and the other armies are in the other side. Great warrior Arjun is fighting with his own uncles. I mean, like in the battlefield, the opponents, in the part of opponents, Arjun has his uncles. In old days, sometimes people has to fight. These kings fought against their own brothers, for power in the battlefields, right? Because the power is the most important thing in old days, right? Even now, it's not no difference, right? So now Arjuna is a great warrior. He's good in war, but his knees shook at the thought, right? කකුල් දෙක මැන්ඩලින් ගහනවා අර්ජුනට හොඳට ගහ ගන්න පුළුවන්. He's a good fighter. අර්ජුනේ කකුල් දෙක මැන්ඩලින් ගහනවා. Why? Of his thought that he had to fight his uncles. Uncles are in the other side, right? His own uncles. His father's brothers, right? His mother's brothers as well, right? Maybe, I don't know what's the relation here. But anyway, he has to fight his own blood now. His own kinship, his own relatives, right? Then at this moment when Arjuna was really nervous, I mean, like Arjuna can't make a decision right now. That's the idea. Arjuna is just like internally torn, right? Then the god himself, who had chosen to be his charioteer, explained to him the need to fight for a cause, even if you had to face your own brothers, cousins, uncles, or even sons. No good has been achieved without the fight at the proper time. Now we'll take a highlighter. It's important, right? It's important. We'll take a highlighter and just highlight these lines as I have done here, right? We'll highlight from God himself to the fourth line, proper time. From God himself to, in the fourth line, proper time. So now what does happen? Arjuna is confused now. Am I or am I not to fight my own uncles when they are in the opposite line, opposite party, opposite group, opposite enemy lines? And then at this moment, God himself had chosen to be a charioteer. I mean, like Arjuna has a chariot, right? Arjuna has a horse cart, or just like pulled by a charioteer, right? I mean, like pulled by these animals, and there's a charioteer who is controlling the cart, the chariot. Is the charioteer. It's like a driver or chauffeur in today's words, right? But who is the chauffeur here? Is a god has taken the form of the charioteer. ශක්‍ර දේවේන්ද්‍රයාත් එක එක වේස අරගෙන එනවනේ. එහෙම අහලා තියෙනවනේ ජාතක කතාවල, right? ශක්‍ර දේවේන්ද්‍ර අහසේ ඉඳලා එක එක වේස අරගෙන එනවා, right? ඇවිල්ලා මිනිසුන්ට උදව් කරනවා. So here in the form of the charioteer, the god, right? The god, the Hindu gods, right? Have come to Arjun and explained Arjun, the great warrior Arjun. He had to fight, the need to fight. Yes, he had to fight. Doesn't matter it's your uncle, right? Doesn't matter it's your brother. Doesn't matter it's your cousins or even your own sons. If you are fighting for the right cause, if you're fighting the right reason, if your fight has a reason, valid reason, you have to fight. If you know you are doing the right thing, You have to stand up for that, right? Get up, stand up for your right. Don't give up your fight. In other words, a kind of a Bob Marley song, right? I mean, like God has said, like I'm joking, right? Uh, yes. So that's the idea that here it says like, uh, so doesn't matter even it's your own relatives, you have to fight them when you have to fight. When there's a cause, when there's a reason, when they are wrong, and you are standing for the right reason, you have to fight. Can't help, right? Do you understand? Ask Jagan from Sivaraman and the people who's just sitting in front of him, right? Arms folded, up straight, and captain behind, his arm folded, listening, right? And all their heads nodded and assent, although their minds were wandering a little. I mean, like, do you understand? Everyone assented, means everyone agreed, nodded. But even their heads are nodding. Sometimes some people in their mind were traveling here and there, right? Nodded, yes, wondering a little. They were anxious lest he should inflict on them a repetition of the same stanza, right? I mean, like, they were anxious. I mean, like, they were a little bit upset, right? Uh, that he should inflict on them. I mean, like, he would again inflict means put some pain, right? Or just, apply something. Or that's the idea. Inflict means. So the cooks are a little concerned now. Will he repeat, right? Repetition of the same stanza. Will he? I mean, like, will he over and over and over say the same thing? In other words, this is little boring for them, right? මේක මේ හැමදාම එකම දේ කියන්න තියාගෙන ඉඳන්නේ කියන එක he thinks, right? After further explanation, Jagan said there is no such thing as reading this book finally, right? So that's the idea. Jagan says there's no such thing as reading this book finally. I mean, like, this is important. There's no such thing as this is Bhagavad Gita. You can't read the Bhagavad Gita, right? Finally. Uh, what does it mean?